this is a critical time, particularly with the U.S. engagement in Yemen in its counterterrorism efforts, as it will continue. The U.S. pledges to continue to use U.S. drones in its attack of ISIS operatives. Let's continue our conversation with former U.S. Ambassador Joe Wilson, a retired diplomat who has spent a lot of time in Africa, in Yemen, in Saudi Arabia, in that entire region. All right, so Ambassador, let me ask you now, the U.S. says it will continue its counterterrorism measures using drones to take out any ISIS operatives there in Yemen. But at the same time, doesn't there have to continue with some sort of diplomacy there? So now our U.S. diplomats that remain in that country, are they having to develop a relationship with the Houthis there, which have already pledged their allegiance to Iran, not the U.S.?
Well, I think there's a lot going on right now that we don't see. The fact that we retain a presence in Sana'a suggests that there is room for diplomacy. And in addition to whatever violence you're seeing on the streets, it does seem to me that there's an awful lot of politicking that's going on. There are a lot of fault lines in Yemeni society, not just sectarian or confessional, but also generational, also educational, also rural and urban. And they've played a delicate game of political balancing for thousands of years. So it should not be a surprise to anybody that what you see on the surface may not accurately reflect what's going on behind the scenes. The fact that the president and the prime minister resigned, nobody has stepped in to take their place yet. So it seems to me that there's likely that there are a lot of negotiations within the internal Yemeni political system that are taking place right now as well. And then we could play a positive role in that.
Yeah, according to today's Washington Post, that apparently the U.S. is open to talking to Houthi leaders, but is that, I guess, conceivable, given that the Houthi leaders have made it very clear that they're not very pro-Western, not very pro-U.S.? A delicate way of putting it.
Well, yes, but they haven't named a president yet, so it's not at all clear from the reporting that I've seen that, in fact, they are going to succeed in taking over the government, or rather, if their objectives are more limited, into ensuring that they have greater participation in a future government. That, I don't think, is clear in the reporting that I've seen so far. And again, I would point out that I think this plays out at a bunch of different levels within the Yemeni political and tribal system, such that it may be.
All right. Former U.S. Ambassador Joe Wilson, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much for being with us today from Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Thanks, Frederica.